Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Shaylee, and in today's video I thought it would be fun to go over some 1-star reviews of my favorite books. So I've seen this trend go around on BookTube a lot, and I thought it would be fun to see some 1-star reviews of books that I really enjoy. So yeah, let's get into it. So I will be reading off of my computer, so I'm sorry if I look over here because that's where my screen is. This is brutal. This is really brutal. I'm not gonna put any names in this video just to obviously privacy reasons. I just thought it'd be fun to read 1-star reviews and see somebody else's perspective on the books that I personally enjoyed. So no hate to these people at all. Reading is subjective. Not everyone is going to have the same taste, so let's just keep that in mind. So the first book that I picked, which was one of the first books that got me back into reading, is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I absolutely love this book and this series, but obviously I gave The Cruel Prince a 5-star. So we're going to read 1-star reviews of this book. So one of the reviews that I see that kind of pulled me in a little bit, it says, "I feel like I'm the only one who's going to rate this brutally low because guess what? This was absolute rubbish to me. Here I am practically seething at every annoying buffoon in this book. This was actually an anticipated read, but how did it transform into hot sewage? Oh my. Excuse me while I channel all of my disappointment into this unapologetic review." And then after that it just has like spoilers of certain things. I didn't read all of this because it is very long. Like very long. Oh my god, wait, this is yeah, holy cow. That was very long. Okay, so maybe we're gonna, okay, so that was one of the first reviews that pulled me in initially. You know, no hate to that person at all. To each their own. I have heard a lot of discourse over the Cruel Prince series and the Cruel Prince in general. I've seen a lot of people say that this book, like some people who go into this book think it's a romantasy. It is not a romantasy at all. It is it's a slow burn in a way, but it's also the plot is very like politically driven, if that makes sense. Like a lot of politics in this series, and it's just kind of what Jude is going through and how she navigates these certain issues. It's a really good series. I really enjoyed it, and the romance is a side plot, okay? It's very side plot. It's not the main premise of the series at all, and I think a lot of people don't get that. But hey, if you don't like the book, you don't like the book. That's okay. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're going into this book or series thinking it's going to be a romance or romantasy, it's not. It's really not. So just thought I would put that out there. If you are interested in the series and you think, you know, if you've heard about like Carden and Jude, which are the two main characters, don't go into it expecting romance right away, okay? Or just straight up romance. It is not that at all, but it still has a very good plot and story, and I love Jude as a character. Yes, so I'm gonna find another 1-star review just to kind of see another perspective. There's a lot. Some of these reviews are long, like they're whole ass paragraphs. What is happening? Okay, I think this one is good. Somebody gave this a 1.5 stars. They said meh within a little emoji. I might try to put this into like into the vlog so you guys can kind of read it yourselves at your own pace. So it says, "Unpopular opinion coming through, don't murder me please. This was an enormous disappointment. I was bored out of my mind for the first half, 3/5, and skimmed right through the rest, looking forward to the moment I finished. I don't like the writing. I felt like I was reading a draft rather than a final copy, and it had more the feel of a middle grade book than anything else. Okay. That's a little... okay. Oh, which they don't like. I haven't read any Holly Black before, and I don't think I will in the future either. If it's all like this. The characters were boring and I couldn't care less about them. I don't think they developed particularly well, and they're utterly forgettable. The story definitely had potential, and the synopsis had me so intrigued, but in the end it was so tedious and could have been many pages shorter if what it does offer wasn't going to be better written than this. I may not have read a lot of books, but I have read some really great fantasy that had me breathing hard and clutching the pages, and this was nowhere close, not by a mile. The world felt unimpressive and underwhelming. I can't really come up with anything that I liked about this. I just don't think this was for me, because whatever it is that 98% of everyone else sees and enjoys about this must have avoided me like the plague. I think it's not going to be like Sarah J. Maas or Fourth Wing or, you know, like those type of books. It's not going to be like that. And this is a really good... I think the Cruel Prince series is a really good series to kind of get back into reading, because it makes it easier to get back into reading and to get back into like fantasy world and not make it so overwhelming. I think that's what I like about it, like especially initially like starting reading again. If you're looking for high fantasy, this is not it for you. It's very... It's not meant to be high fantasy at all. There is a political story in this book, or political stance in this book. And I thought it was very well done. I liked kind of learning about the Fae environment, the Fae, like, what am I thinking of? Like the Fae courts. Sorry, I was trying to think of the word. I couldn't think of the word. It's been a while since I've read anything fairy related. So, the Fae court. Yeah, I really liked how Holly Black wrote the Fae court, and kind of how Jude navigated being in a non-human world and kind of trying to fit in a way, but also like not fit in, because obviously she's not a Fae. She's human. So, I don't know. I felt like The Cruel Prince was really... the world building was really cool. It was fun. It was... I mean, I haven't really read a lot of like YA books or series, honestly. I've read like Percy Jackson or The Heroes of Olympus, and that was definitely middle grade. Like the writing was definitely very middle grade, but I didn't see that in The Cruel Prince. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly, but I mean, hey, to each their own, I guess. I didn't give this book a 5 stars, I gave it a 4 stars, but it's still one of my, like, not favorite, but it's very... I enjoyed the book a lot. It's a classic. I'm just curious. I really want to know what people think about it. I'm sorry, one of the reviews I just saw, I don't think I can post this on YouTube, but it's really funny. Oh god. Okay. What is this? Okay. So the next book that I'm reading 1-star reviews from is Pride and Prejudice. I watched the movie. So I watched this movie, the Pride and Prejudice movie, a couple of years ago, and let me just say that is such a good movie. I highly recommend watching it. And when I first got my Kindle, I wanted to read Pride and Prejudice. It was on Prime Reading, so I was like, we're gonna try it, you know, see how it goes. I was a little bit nervous. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It did take me a while to get through, but I think it was obviously because of the writing. Like, it's Old English, so it was like written in the 1800s, I believe. I don't remember. I'm gonna be so honest. I think it was 1800s. but I'm curious to see what 1-star reviews are gonna be, like who, like, I'm just curious, you know, I'm just curious. So first we have the heading. What's that? Mr. Darcy doesn't want to dance at the dance? Welcome to almost any 8th grade dance. You will find most of the boys playing basketball in the gym while the girls are waiting in the cafeteria for someone with whom to dance. I was rooting for Mr. Bingley to get away. Maybe he just isn't that into Jane. The scenes bounce from one scene to another so quickly that it makes my head spin and I couldn't connect with any of the characters. Elizabeth spends most of the novel sitting around complaining about Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley, I can't say his name, while doing absolutely nothing to better her situation. At least Jay Gatsby did something about his love. Well, okay, that's, you know, okay. I don't really have much to say about that. I do understand where they're coming from. I read Pride and Prejudice a while ago, so I don't really remember much about it. So, okay, here we go. This is from 2007. This review is from 2007, and it's 2025 now, obviously, but I'm curious to see what this thinks, or what this person thinks. So it says, the most overrated book in history of literature. The plot borders between meaningless and trivial. I was forced to read the book in 9th grade English class. This was perhaps the most tedious school assignment I've received to date. For several pages, a lady remarks to a man about what wonderful handwriting he has, not exactly gripping material. And the entire book seemed to be about hormone-driven marriageable age creatures trying to outwit each other in word and on the dance floor. Yeah, that makes sense. The book itself isn't bad enough. Oh, the book itself is bad enough, but I can't talk, guys. The book itself is bad enough, but to complicate matters, women pledge allegiance not only to the book, but also to the gazillion-hour movie. I love the movie. The movie is so good. It is such like a... I wasn't expecting to like the movie as much as I did, but every time I see Pride and Prejudice like on a streaming platform, I am jumping the gun to watch it because it is so good. Like, the tension, first of all, is really good. I think they did a really good job with that. And yes, Mr. Darcy does have his issues in the book and in the movie, but you kind of figure out as to why. He's a very antisocial person, and he doesn't know how to engage in social interactions. And I think it's unique to see how he overcomes that when he wants to talk to Elizabeth, which is the main female character in this book and movie. And I think personally, I find it really sweet. Like, yes, he annoyed me at first, but then when you kind of understand, then it's like, oh my god, like, he wasn't trying to be rude. He just had no idea how to talk to her, like, at all. Like, at all. He was, yeah, he was just, I love the story. I think it's really good. And, you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's okay. But I highly recommend looking into kind of like understanding as to why Mr. Darcy is the way he is in the beginning of the movie and the book. And I don't know, I just love the tension between the two. I think it's really good, and how they kind of bring out each other's personality in a way, I think. And Mr. Darcy loves Elizabeth's personality, because Elizabeth is a very headstrong person and girl for that time and age, like, and he like loves her. Like, it is crazy. Anyways, I highly recommend watching the movie, maybe reading the book if you're interested. Like, it's really good. Okay, so the next book that we're gonna be looking at 1-star reviews for is Fourth Wing. This book has a lot of controversy, and I'm curious to see what their thoughts are on this book. So I originally found this book on Book Talk. I'm sure a lot of people did, especially like trying to get into books again. Book Talk was like the #1 place for me to look at, like, get book recommendations, and of course Fourth Wing popped up a bajillion times and still does. I'm glad I loved it. I was a little nervous because there were so many like mixed reviews about it, but I personally am curious to see why these people gave it 1-star reviews. I'm genuinely curious. Okay, I'm trying not to find any like crazy big reviews. Here's one. It's a little long, but I think it's fine. I don't think there are any spoilers in here. So this 1-star review says, "This book is not for you if you do not like one frail, small, short heroine lead who's obsessed with huge, big, broad male lead and who just can't shut up about it." I do understand where you're coming from. For sure, I really do. I also am not a big fan of these like main female characters being said as like small, frail, short, but there's a reason for it, and I do understand that, and I actually do like how Rebecca Yarros portrayed it, because she suffers from what is it? I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it here. She suffers from the syndrome, and I think it's really special to have a main female character, or main character in general, that has the same like chronic illness as you, if that makes sense. Like, as a lot of people probably deal with this chronic illness, and I think it's powering and just like really, it's not of like, oh my god, she's so small and frail and everything she does will hurt her and blah blah blah. Like, there's a reason for it, but she's still, Violet is not a frail person. She's very strong, actually. She's very strong, and I don't think people understand that. And yes, the love interest is this big guy who is very muscular. He's, you know, tall. I don't know, like, I don't find any issue about it. I mean, most guys are gonna be like that. I'm just gonna be honest, like, it's true. Not only that, like, he literally rides dragons, so you're gonna have to be like that. Like, I don't understand what the issue is with that. I honestly didn't find any issue with it, and it wasn't overbearing, honestly. It was fine. #2, characters not acting their age and bickering like kids. That I do understand, but they're also still in their young 20s. I'm 22 right now, and I mean, I still feel like I graduated from high school, so I mean, I don't know if anybody else feels that way who's in their early 20s. I mean, some people are different, but they're like 20, 21, I believe, so that's not far from being a teenager. I think that's normal. I mean, I do understand there is a lot of swearing in the books, but if you don't like that, you don't like that. You know, like, if you don't want the swearing, if you don't want the kind of, you know, the bickering, the like, they're not in their 30s, they're in their early 20s. It's technically they should be in college. So have you met college kids? Like, I'm sorry, but college kids technically usually party and drink and do college things, and I think that's a normal thing for somebody to do in their early 20s, so that's all I'm gonna say. #3, everyone just automatically loves, protects, prioritize the female lead. I'm not sure what you mean, what that means. Literally nobody loves her. I mean, like, do they mean like actual people who read the story, or like people in the book? Because in the book, everyone literally doesn't like her. There are people who try to kill her off the bat, so I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, #4, egotistic, strong male romantic interest who are trying to act strong, like they almost become the unknown side characters. Okay. I mean, I guess I do understand that. Number 5, no world building in the fantasy setting. Did they read the same book as me? I'm confused. I'm not trying to be like very like. There was a lot of world building in this book. You literally have to have world building in this book to understand anything of how anything works. So I'm confused about this. Maybe it's not as complex as other like high fantasy books, but there is world building in this, so I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about. Okay, number 6, no character depths. No character depths. I will say I think the first book is a little bit bad with that, with some characters in there, but as the series goes on, it is a little bit better. So I do understand that. I will say the characters who get more like in-depth descriptions or like in-depth like background or like how they grew up, I think is Violet and Xaden for sure, because they are the main characters. I'm trying to think of who else. I can't really right now because it's been a while since I've read the book, but I do kind of understand that. Number 7, no chemistry between the main leads. Okay. I don't know about that one because there is a lot of chemistry there, if I'm gonna be honest. I love Xaden and Violet. So I'm not sure, maybe they just didn't feel it between them, or maybe they just particularly didn't like their relationship or how they are with each other, which I do get. But there was definitely some chemistry there. Number 8, expecting dragons to be of a more significant role of the plot, but you just have to keep waiting and waiting. I don't really know about this one. I mean, their big role in Fourth Wing and the world in general, because I mean dragons have been around for a while and that's just how it's been. I don't know like what they were expecting, but I mean they are a big, I mean they're in the book, like they're not just like not in the book and not, I don't know. Anyways, we'll keep going. Okay, 9, too much babying of one main character. Okay, but I don't understand what do you mean too much babying of. If you're talking about Violet, I get that because when she does certain things, sometimes her body does not respond like a normal human being, I guess, especially in a fantasy setting. Like how do I put this? Her body is very fragile because of the chronic illness she has, and when she does certain things like put too much pressure or like doing something physically demanding, I mean it's not gonna end well for her, but she keeps going either way. She's gonna have to get healed or like mended as in the book, or there's people in that series, in this book, who want her to succeed or want her to live, okay? I don't know what you want. She is the main character, so I'm not sure what you're getting at here. It does get better, I will say, in the second and third book, though. In the first book, it's like, okay, yeah, she gets hurt and she gets mended, she gets hurt and she gets mended. It is a little bit, like, exhausting, but at the same time, I mean, she's not gonna just tank it like a normal person, I guess. I don't know. Number 10, eye rolling the entire time. Okay, I'm assuming they mean they were eye rolling the entire time. Okay. Number 11, hype books. It is very hyped, yes. Number 12, your favorite book. Bloggers, booktubers read it just for the sake of the hype. I will say yes, but that's what is gonna happen when you have these books that are, popular in a way come out, and a lot of people are gonna want to jump on the hype train. I understand it, but I think that's a normal human experience. I mean, that's what happened to me, especially as a beginner reader. This was on my list of one of the, like, I wanted to read this early on in my starting to read again, and I was a little bit nervous because of how much hype it had, the mixed reviews, people saying it was awful, and don't get me wrong, this book isn't amazing. It's not crazy. It's good, but not in a sense of like it's good over anything else. It's just the vibes are great, I think, and it's fun to read. And that's why I enjoyed it, because it is fun to read, and it got me. I mean, I love dragons, I love romance, I love fantasy, so I was like, yes. And I was a little bit worried, but I really enjoyed it. So I think it just depends on the person and what they're looking for. If you don't want something that's easy and fun to read, and you want something more complex, I completely understand if you want something else, but I don't think we should judge anybody who jumps on the hype, because I think that's a normal thing for a person to do. Number 13, writing which seems like prepping you for the most craziest battle story ever told, but it never happens till the end. Okay. That usually happens at the end of a book. And I will say, I mean, there are still some things that happen in the book. I think it just tries to have you mentally prepare for the end and kind of Violet's journey through becoming a dragon rider, or, you know, like, you're basically going with Violet and how, like, what she's doing and how she finds out certain things. I think it's fine. I didn't mind it. Like, I think it was fine. And there's a lot of tension in the books too, like, not even just with like certain characters. And if this romance is the kind we are swinging over, I better shift our human species to another universe. Once again, why are we judging people for swooning over the romance in this book? Everyone has their own taste. They also say, you know the kind of bad taste in your mouth when you read that part in Breaking Dawn. I've never read, so I don't know what they're talking about. Believe me, you will get the worst kind of bitter taste when you read the sex scenes. Don't worry about the missing what? Okay. Interesting. The only consolation now is that I didn't waste my precious money on the sparkling hardcover. Okay. That was a lot to take, I think. Honestly, I do understand this person and their review, and again, it's gonna be different for each person, because I mean, obviously I enjoyed the book a lot, actually. I thought it was really fun. I love the dragons in the book. I didn't mind Violet. Like, yes, she can be a little bit irksome, but I mean, I didn't really care much about that. I just enjoyed the story. I wanted to learn more about this world, and I personally really liked it. So I guess it really depends on the person. Okay, here's another review. It says, some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but this is awful. Also, if this is enemies to lovers, then oh, how mighty have fallen. The amount of time I cringe was insane. I'd rather stick molten hot needles in my eyes than read sequel. Yeah. That's okay. I do understand this is not an enemies to lovers. I'm gonna be so for real right now. It is portrayed as enemies to lovers. It is not. It really isn't. It just if you're interested in this book, just go into it knowing that it's not going to be an enemies to lovers. It's going to be maybe a rivals to lovers, but other than that, it is not an enemies to lovers. So just a heads up. Sorry for the lighting. It is getting darker outside because it's like currently 6, so I'm so sorry about that. You know what, I want to do one that I not recently, but I did read earlier this year. I got it as a ARC copy on NetGalley, and it was like one of my first NetGalley books and ARC books in general. The next book I'm going to be reading 1-star reviews from is called The Bane Witch. So I read this book earlier in the year. It was my first ARC copy, and I didn't expect it to be what it was. I thought it was going to be like a cozy witch book, maybe? I don't know, but it is definitely not that, but it is really good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm very curious to see what people said about it, because it's been a while now since it came out. So there's a 1-star review that I completely understand. So it says, I was really invested and loved the plot until I got to the part where Pierce talks about being SA'd with no prior trigger warning list on the book or on NetGalley's site. Didn't really have an inclination to be interested after that. I absolutely abhor books that don't give warnings for sensitive content, and I was unable to enjoy the book afterwards. Disappointing. That I do understand, because there was no trigger warning list at all, like even on like what the person said, NetGalley and the beginning of the book, which they usually do for like trigger warnings. None of that. So that was disappointing, because it's like, if somebody is reading this and there's no trigger warnings, I think that's very important, especially for the topics that are discussed in the book. So that completely makes sense to me. If it did have trigger warnings, like a trigger warning like page of like what would be talked about in the book, I think it would have done better, because not done better, but I feel like it would just, people would appreciate that more, because a lot of books that talk about dark topics have that, because it can be obviously very triggering for somebody to read about that, and what they're getting themselves into. So I really think that's important. So I completely get what they're saying. That makes sense to me. So the next book that I'm reading 1-star reviews from is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. I recently read this book a couple of months ago. It was my first V.E. Schwab book. I really enjoyed it. There were some critiques I had in there, or there's some things in there that I personally didn't enjoy, and it was just like meh. But I thought, I gave it a 4-star. I still really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed Addie Larue, which is the main character. I'm just curious to see like what these people have to say about it. So this person says, I have no words to describe how angry I am with the Bookstagram community for hyping up this book. I don't even know where to start with this review. Do I begin with the writing pandering to leftist millennials? Do I begin with the fact that I hated one of the main characters and didn't care about his storyline at all? Okay, that I do understand, because if you don't know, this book isn't solely just about Addie Larue's perspective. There is going to be another perspective in the book, which completely threw me off guard. So, I didn't connect with him at all, but I think for Addie to connect to him made a difference, if that makes sense. Okay. Do I begin with how much of the story was fluffy backstory for Addie Larue to make us sympathize with her situation, but I felt nothing for her struggle? Why don't we just dive right into how much I hate this damn book? They're very, blunt about this. Someone's 1-star review says, if you liked this book, good for you, but F me, it was so boring, overhyped, and underwhelming. This book can sit on the middle finger and rotate. Oh my. I find it interesting that people found it boring. I mean, this is my first V.E. Schwab, and I really haven't read a lot of books. I've read a lot of books, but also not as much as other people have or do. I I really enjoyed the book, and I really enjoyed the history and learning about Addie Larue and how she navigated the world and navigated situations or relationships. I thought it was really interesting, and how she was basically just trying to survive as a person. I mean, I can understand, I guess, why people thought it was boring. I don't know, like, I didn't mind it. I think it was fine. The only part that threw me off guard was when we got to the second POV, which was Henry. I was not expecting that, but I think it's interesting. But I also didn't feel a connection with Henry at all. It was I didn't feel as much as a connection I did as with Addie Larue, because I mean, you get to know more about Addie Larue and how she grew up and what happened to her, and with Henry, you don't really get that. You do later on, but still it's a little like meh in a way. But other than that, it was fine. So, I don't know. I think it just depends on the person, and I mean, that's all I really have to say. Alright, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I really enjoyed kind of seeing everyone's perspective, or like 1-star reviews of the books that I personally enjoyed, and it was kind of interesting to see like there are some things that I did agree on, but they weren't major red flags for me in the book, or like made me want to stop reading. It would make me like disagree, but then like I'd still want to continue the book, and I still enjoyed the book. So I think it just depends on the person, what they find interesting and what they are into. But yeah, I thought it was really fun to kind of just look at 1-star reviews of books, even if they were crazy or just like really long. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do have a plan on reading 5-star reviews of books that I personally did not enjoy. So I'm very excited to do that, because there are a few books that I found like that people really enjoyed, and I did not like them at all. So I am very excited to get into that and kind of see their perspective on the books that I did not like at all. So yeah, if you like today's video, maybe consider liking and subscribing, or you know, just sticking around. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!